This? My 2003 Honda Civic. I'm gonna flip it.
In this video, I'll show you the start of my journey and the first steps I took to turn this $1,500 shitbox into $3,000 with no experience. Now, originally I drove about an hour and a half away from where I lived to check out this 2007 Honda Civic. But after inspecting the car in person, not only did it need a new rear brake caliper, but it also had extensive rust damage, which scared me out of buying the car. After a little more research, I was able to find an older 2003 Honda Civic in my area, and I went to go check it out in person. The seller had it listed for $3,000 with 158,000 kilometers on the car, which was an okay price if the car didn't have any issues. However, this car had an overheating problem. The seller's mechanic told him that it was a head gasket, and I think I was a little bit too confident in my skills, and I thought I could replace the head gasket myself. However, with the overheating problem, the price was a little too high for my comfort. After test driving the car, everything seemed to be in good working order, no creaks, no rattles, vibrations, or knocking sounds. The brakes worked well, the car accelerated smoothly, and the transmission felt solid. With a little bit of research, I was able to find a tutorial on how to replace the head gasket for the car. I have to say the video made it look easy, and it was only around 20 minutes long, so I thought I probably could get done in a day or so. I was able to find the parts I needed and started a spreadsheet for the car to budget how much I'd spend. After listing the problems to the seller and telling him how much it would cost to fix up the car, my initial offer was $1,500. With the market value of these older Honda Civics, I thought I could probably sell the car anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000. Surprisingly, the seller took my first offer, which should have been a really big red flag to me. Regardless, I was super excited and I drove the car home the same day.
It's squirting out coolant, I think because it has a blown head gasket. But fuck, I made it home, so that's all that matters, right? Fuck, that's not good.
That same night I bought the car, I attempted to put back together the hood latch trim piece, as the previous owner was trying to fix the release cable and was unsuccessful.
These two bolts were a fucking bitch, but I got it. I got them both in. We got the trim piece installed. Looking good, looking good.
The next day I decided to give the car a little wash as it's pretty dirty.
Supposedly this car has a leaky head gasket. When I drove it home and parked it, it started spewing coolant out the radiator cap, which made me believe that it was a leaky head gasket. However, I'm not too confident that's the actual problem. So now I'm deciding whether it's actually a leaky head gasket or just a leaky coolant system. But today I have my coolant pressure tester, so I'm going to test to see if it's a leaky head gasket or just a leaky coolant system. I don't know if you guys can see in there, but there's a bunch of coolant sitting right here. I think what might have happened is it might have came off the top, off the cap, and hit the hood and then came back down and just went right here. Nothing doesn't look like it could be a head gasket. I'm hoping it's not a head gasket because I don't want to go through the trouble of taking everything apart and putting in a new head gasket. So I'm gonna check with my coolant pressure tester to see if it's actually a leaky coolant system. All right, let's get this off. Oh, yeah, we got some pressure, but it is hot today. That could just be because of the temperature. Let's get this quick connect cap on. Too small? Oh no. I think that'll work on our ruler. There we go. Alright, now we can get this on. I can actually already hear a leak. I'm gonna try to pump it up to around and see we're already losing pressure, so I think either I just connected the wrong way or we actually have a coolant. So upon further inspection, what seems to happen is this gasket, for some reason, is just a bit leaky. And so I think it just started coming out because this didn't make a proper seal. But I tried to fix the gasket and I'm hoping that's just all it is.
After driving it around the block for a couple minutes, I noticed that the temperature gauge wouldn't go over half and would actually stay below it, which made me think that it was actually a faulty gauge. After diagnosing the leaky cooling cap, I decided to work on the AC.
After a little bit of WD-40 and hours of work, I was able to get the AC compressor clutch off. So what it looks like, so what I'm going to do is going to shave just a little bit off the top here, about like a quarter's worth, and then that should help this clutch engage and actually turn on, or I guess activate the compressor, because over time these kind of pins wear out. If you shave some of the metal off, it'll help the pins actually engage the clutch, because right now what the previous owner told me was that his mechanic just took off the belt that goes from the camshaft to here. He took it off because it was just spinning, but the AC wasn't working. But now that I have this off, I'm gonna try to, we'll test that theory out.
A common problem with these old Honda Civics is the AC compressor. In short, the compressor compresses refrigerant, which allows the refrigerant to release heat, making the air in the cabin cooler. Because the clutch pins were worn out on this clutch, it wasn't able to activate the AC compressor, meaning no AC for the Honda Civic. Now on to the next issue. While taking a look inside the engine bay, I found between the valve cover and the engine block there was some sort of residue, which I assume was either oil or RTB. Now, the seller told me he was driving on the highway and the car overheated and broke down. When he went to his mechanic, he said that he had a leaky head gasket. So this wasn't surprising, but it was worrying to see. The first thing I replaced on the car was the interior dome light. I noticed when I opened the doors the light wouldn't turn on, so I just bought a bulb off Amazon for $2. It was super simple and only took me a couple of minutes. The next thing I replaced was the rear brake light. This was also super easy, just a few plastic clips holding the trunk liner on, and then a couple of wires to unplug. Both of the headlights were super yellowed, so I took care of that next. First I taped off the headlights, and then grabbed the headlight restoration kit. The kit came with a sanding pad, sanding discs, an applicator pad, a buffing drill attachment, polishing compound, and a sealant. First I cleaned the headlight with rubbing alcohol, then I started sanding it down with the first sanding pad. I also made sure to dunk the sanding disc in a bucket of water to lubricate the headlight and make sanding easier. As you can see, the headlight is already starting to look brand new, just with a little bit of sanding. Next, I wiped away all the residue from sanding the headlight to get it ready for polishing. Next, it's time to attach the polishing brush to the drill and apply a light layer of polishing compound to the headlight. With a drill, I'm just going back and forth, overlapping strokes, and tilting the drill if necessary to get all angles. I also made sure to not miss any corners when polishing the headlight. As you can see, the headlight looks amazing, almost looks brand new. Now, just for the sealant. Finally, time to apply some sealant. The sealant protects the headlight and seals in the polish. But just before, I'm going to clean up the headlight with a little bit of glass cleaner to make sure I don't have any residue left on the headlight. And after applying that sealant, the headlight looks brand new. And taking a look at the other headlight, you can see the difference. Now, just to do the same thing with the other headlight. Alright, so we gotta do a parts update. This is around $300 worth of parts. We got 2 wiper blades, valve cover gasket, air filter, front and rear brake pads, and we got a license plate bracket because the front does not have a license plate bracket, new radiator cap, new headlight bulbs, 4 spark plugs, and then finally the timing belt, because when I'm doing the head gasket replacement, might as well just do the timing belt too. The next thing I decided to do was install a front license plate cover, as this car didn't come with one. First, I taped it up, made sure it was straight, and then I drilled holes to screw in the license plate cover. Next, I decided to replace the 2 front headlight bulbs. This wasn't needed, but I thought it was a cheap way to add value to the car.
And since I already cleared up the headlights, new headlight bulbs are just the way to go. Now as you can see here, it's a pretty easy install. All I had to do was remove the rubber boot, then I unplugged the wiring harness that goes to the light bulb, then I unhooked the little metal pin, let the light bulb freely move out, and then just do everything in the reverse order. And after doing the same thing to the other side, I was all set to go. Now since we're flipping the car, let's tally up everything that we've done to add value to this car. So we bought the car for $1,500, then we washed the car for free, then we bought a headlight restoration kit for $45, then we bought a dome light for $2, a front license plate holder for $15, and then finally front headlight bulbs for $20. Now that brings us to a total of $1,582 invested so far into this car, and it's already looking almost brand new with the new look of the front headlights. In the next episode, I'll dive into everything that was mechanically wrong with the car and the steps I took to solve the overheating problem.